Okay, on with the show, as they say, and here we've got Chewbacca on a Return of the Jedi Kenner card, but this is from Canada, so this is the Canadian version. It's a 77 back, and so I like collecting foreign cards. Today you've seen the Argentine Stormtrooper, and now you're going to see this. So this is the Chewbacca 12 back figure on a Return of the Jedi card. Very nice condition. I've also got Canadian stuff that it's on YouTube. Luke Bespin on a 31 back and a Snaggletooth on a 20 back A on a Canadian card. So if you want to check them out. I've got a Canadian Land Speeder which I haven't posted yet. I'll do that soon once I find where I've put it. Also got Canadian Tebow, which is a very common figure. So I actually did a lot of research about this. So I went on womprat.com, which is an excellent Canadian site and tells you a lot of information about the Canadian Star Wars figures and which ones exist on what cards and all that sort of stuff. So this one's, they give it a level 3 in terms of how hard it is to find. So level 6 is being virtually impossible and level 1 being very common. So a very common one would be the Tebow on Return of the Jedi 77 back. So this, along with the Darth Vader and the Stormtrooper, are the 3 known 12 back figures that are on this 77 back range line. Perhaps there's more, but they don't have it on their site, and they have a link to another really good site as well. You can also go on Star Wars Collectors Archive. They've got a good section on Canadian cards. I like the Canadian cards because they are bi-logo. They have English and French language on them, and thus they just a little bit more exotic than your typical Kenner card. More so than your Palatoy cards as well, which are quite common over here and quite common in the UK, USA as well. So there you are. So let's see, it's got 19. So they've got a mistake there. If you notice on the top corner, it says 1978 Canada Star Wars 77 back A Chewbacca, so that's wrong. It would be 1983. So just notice that. So, and then you've got card gets an 80, blister gets an 85, figure gets an 85, and the bubble is yellow. It gets a grade 85 near mint. And there's the AFA hologram. So this was graded a while back because it's got the older style of how the AFA box is set out, because with the new cards the information's there in the bottom of the corner. So you've got, it's very similar to a US card. There's very slight little difference. I mean, the only difference is in the top corner it says in English and French the age is 4 and up, and then just underneath the Kenner logo it says the address of Kenner, Canada is in Toronto. Figure's very nice. I've shown a US 77 back with the alternate picture of, so you've got that on YouTube, plus you've got a Palatoy 65 back Chewbacca Return of the Jedi card. Both of those are Return of the Jedi. So I'm pretty sure I've got a Meccano Return of the Jedi long card Chewbacca, which is pretty rare. I need to find that. Bought that a long time ago. So here's the French back. So just at the top corner it says in English and French Star Wars Action Figures Collect All 77, and then in French the same. And at the bottom has English and French in text as well. So some of these Canadian cards look amazing when they have the sort of JEDI logo, Guerre d'Étoiles logo. They look wicked, especially the 12 backs when they have it there. So that's your Canadian Chewbacca, very similar to the US card. This is the original picture on a Return of the Jedi 77 back. So probably out of all the Canadian cards, the 77 backs are the most common. And certain Canadian cards are really common, like the Emperor on 77 back, the Princess Leia Endor, she's very common on the Canadian back, and the Tebow. So, and of course the most famous being the Yak Face, of course, the Power of the Force, that's a Canadian card. And the Droids and the Ewok series, they have their own Canadian versions as well. With the Canadian Droids and Ewoks, they just have the same image on the card rather than an image that's specific to the figure. So that's your Canadian Chewbacca. And if you want to see more Chewbacca, I've got that on my videos, plus the Palatoy version, plus the Kenner version with the different picture. I've also got this on Power of the Force as well, and that's quite nice.